I love buying cheap storage and combing through it in search of treasure. Old software, deleted files, maybe even lost media. This is Archive Dive. Welcome back. It's pretty crazy to think Archive Dive is already at 300 subscribers. Thank you everybody who has chosen to join me on this quest of discovery. Everything I show on this channel is real. I don't fake anything. There's no lies and no sensationalism. I'm sure you all appreciate the transparency, and please know that even if I don't say it enough, I really do appreciate all of you being here. Last week's video took us to the very depths of depravity. It was a card so caked with filth, I had to wipe it down clean with a cloth afterwards.
Now drink some more of this Jesus juice.
Jokes aside, let's check out a card that was a little more down to earth. I purchased this 8GB SD card from a seller on eBay who claims to specialize in retro gaming. I paid about a $5 all in. Since the seller deals with retro gaming, I was rather hoping to find some evidence this card had been used in a Wii or Wii U console, perhaps containing some old and long-forgotten homebrew or some backed-up save data. No such luck. In hindsight, that would not have made for quite as interesting an episode. The card itself was empty upon inserting it into the computer, as I so often see, so I performed data recovery, which yielded 121 files. I managed to recover 115 photos, 2 video recordings, and the rest were junk files, logs and/or config files, or files that didn't recover properly. The photos on the card were taken with a Samsung Galaxy S2, the 2011 model, and then the later photos were taken with a Samsung ES8 or ES9 digital camera. Immediately I was somewhat confused. You may not be aware, but the Samsung Galaxy S2 uses the micro SD card format exclusively, but this is a full-size SD card. In other words, the photos were copied from a micro SD to the full-size SD card for whatever reason, at some point. There I go playing detective again, before we've even taken a look at what's here. Even after recovery, there is no evidence of any use within a Wii or Wii U, which was mildly disappointing, until I took a closer look at the actual files here. I went through the photos and made sure they were safe to show. I initially chose to omit 24 photos that I deemed either too intimate or simply inappropriate to share. Then I culled a further 8 on a second pass for the same reason. I reviewed YouTube community guidelines, then culled a further 1 photo that depicted, shall we say, substance use, just to be on the safe side. This leaves me with 82 photos remaining, which are all perfectly fine to show. As I have done before on Archive Dive, I am blurring faces, along with anything else that may be used to identify someone. If you are in these photos and would like a copy, send me some proof to that'sme@escaperoutebritish.com, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. The recovered photos contain date and time metadata, so let's go through them in that order. We start with 2 photos showing a man standing in a snow-covered street. These 2 photos contain a red timestamp in the corner, which matches the metadata, showing the time as exceeding 2 AM. You're out late, fella. I was curious about the location these might have been taken, so I fed them into Google Lens, which says they were taken on South Ealing Road, London. An AI hallucination, I'm sure. While the date does match up with the 2009 snowstorm that pelted London and the surrounding area, I don't think Google is entirely right about this one. I asked it to pinpoint on Google Maps the exact position, and I travelled there in 2008 Street View. However, I did not see evidence of a Tongs business like we can just about make out here. Also, the path does not jut out like that. I do not believe these photos were taken in London, but roughly 200 miles away in Manchester. More on that in a moment. The next 2 photos show 2 young men clubbing, apparently taken at almost 2 AM in the morning. Go to bed. Nowadays, I'm exhausted by midnight. I couldn't imagine being out that late. The next 3 photos were taken in some kind of house or flat or bungalow or what have you. Then the next photo shows a man looking into the hood or bonnet, if you like, of a car. And the metadata says it was taken at 4:34 in the morning. It might seem crazy, but in the height of summer, it can be this bright at shy of 5 AM in the morning. Next, 3 photos of the men from before, with one receiving a certificate of study. This guy's name, the course he studied at Manchester Metropolitan University, are both very easy to read in the original photos. Of course, I've blurred them out, but there is easily enough information on this card for someone less virtuous to engage in fraud. Not that I'm trying to virtue signal or anything. For future reference, folks, if you're going to sell or pass on your memory cards, do a professional wipe. I'll go over it in more detail another time, but when you delete files, you usually just disable the availability of the file and maybe jumble its contents a tiny bit. Any file recovery tool can easily reverse this process for most known file types. Maybe I'll do a tutorial on how to securely delete files at some point in the future, maybe during a quieter week when I don't have any interesting discoveries to share. The next set of photos show more snowy weather. I'm always jealous when I see others enjoying the snow. Here we have an indoor scene, including a photo showing one of those expensive vending machines. The kind of vending machine that doesn't show the prices until you key in the code first, which creates a psychological hook. That way you've already taken the steps to discover the price. Now you are more likely to pay it despite the exorbitant cost. The kind of vending machine that is pure evil incarnate. The next handful of photos were taken in and around the Trafford Centre in Manchester. Looks like it could be a fun place to shop. That Debenhams in the background there is now a Marks & Spencer's apparently. I appreciate this Lego Wendy from Bob the Builder. Unfortunately, these aren't built by a merchandiser, instead they arrive pre-built and pre-glued. That's kind of sad. I wonder if there's a collector's market for these statues. It's the kind of thing Sam Butcher might buy for a video. This photo I'm confident was taken inside Sports Direct due to the merchandising layout and the price labels. And it looks like there was a Sainsbury's and a Peacock's at the time. And, in the reflection here, a Poundland too. Am I really that strapped for things to talk about when I'm examining the reflections in photographs? I quite enjoy this photo here, since it looks like a half-decent attempt at an album cover. What would their band be called? Give me your best answers in the comments. Here I had to blur out the license plate on this black Land Rover, just in case, you know. This is Manchester. The next 26 photos appear to have been taken at Alton Towers, a UK theme park with attractions, rides, carnival games, and eateries. I'm sure I've been maybe once or twice, but I simply don't remember much. Everything I think I remember about Alton Towers is actually a memory of Chessington World of Adventures or Thorpe Park, which are similar theme parks. These 3 photos were taken on the Sky Ride gondola. I'd be utterly terrified to ride this, to be totally real with you. I have vertigo. Like the kind of vertigo where you're worried the thing you're on or in is about to give out. Next, we have a photo taken in a gift shop. I was about to call that candy absurdly expensive, but compared to prices nowadays, it's really not that bad. Some kind of big meetup in Towers Street. Now, this area reminds me of something out of a fantasy game, with the old-fashioned buildings. I feel like I'm about to get jumped by a Khajiit highwayman. The next photo in the 2010 to 2015 timeframe, when this photo was taken, Sega partnered with Alton Towers to rebrand their Spinball Whizzer roller coaster into the Sonic Spinball. Sonic branding was also attached to other elements of the park, including Sonic-themed products in the gift shops, Sonic-themed decorations at the hotel, and even kiosks with playable Sonic games. The partnership was originally intended to last for 3 years, but they extended it for another 2 due to the popularity. As part of that branding, prizes on nearby carnival games included these 29-inch Gosh Designs Sonic plushies, in Sonic the Hedgehog, Miles, Tails, Prower, Knuckles the Echidna, and Shadow the Hedgehog varieties. a lineup of plushies that also matched the lineup of new sticker decals for each of Sonic Spimble's cars during the promotion. These plushies are absolutely fabulous. I'd watch a 1 hour long Pat Mac video about them if it existed. Can someone check in on Pat Mac, please? They haven't uploaded in a while. Next, a set of 16 photos taken around her ladyship's garden at Alton Towers and Alton Lake. These guys genuinely look like they're having fun on this little excursion. Good on them. Seems like it might have rained a bit, but they made a day out of it regardless. The next 8 photos were taken at some kind of hotel, resort, or ceremony hall, possibly some kind of banquet. I don't think we're at Alton Towers anymore. It's really hard to tell. Reminds me of the fancy hall in Dead Island 2 where you fight the zombie in the wedding dress. We shoot forward 5 years in the metadata now and... Aw, what the dog doing? What that dog doing, That dog knows what's up. That doggy knows what's up. Yes they do, yes they do. Then forwards 1 more year, with a photo of a vase on a windowsill and... Is this the same dog? Damn son, you grow a lot in 1 year. No, that's a different dog, to my eyes at least. Some more photos taken in and around Manchester. And some photos of family. That's it for the contents of the card. Wait, no. I mentioned videos, didn't I? 3 videos were recovered, 2 are able to be played, and the 3rd is just junk data. It either wasn't a video to begin with, or it ended up getting slightly overwritten. The 2 that do play feature the young men dancing and leaping around to music on YouTube and generally having a good time. But not all of the footage can be shown because, well, it relates to the image I had to cull before for liberal use of substances deemed inappropriate for YouTube. It's not any illegal substance as far as I can tell, but it's something YouTube won't let me show. One sensation I've been feeling since starting Archive Dive is anemoia. This is when you feel nostalgic for a time that you never actually experienced firsthand, and is triggered by a desire for connection to the past. As time moves forwards, moments like these captured here remain stuck in time, unmoving. I romanticize the past, as it is shown to me on these old memory cards, and I find myself empathizing with the people pictured within them. As I long to escape the present, I find myself yearning to return to the time and place when these photos were taken, even though I didn't take them myself. It always amazes me when not one single file exists on a card when plugged in, but these journeys just seem to appear out of thin air after data recovery is complete. I find myself developing a connection to this man. I wonder what he's up to now, if everything's okay in his life. He just seems like a guy who just seeks fun. In a purely platonic way, I just want to know if he's alright. Textbook anemoia. Refusal to let go of the past. I really am a real hopeless case. These photos make me think Manchester might be a nice place too. A lovely shopping experience at the Trafford Centre, and not 2 hours away is Alton Towers. These photos make me want to take a trip up that way sometime. See some of these same sights. What a time capsule it is to grab a picture of those 29-inch Gosh-designed Sonic plushies in their natural habitat. And the snow. Photos like these make me yearn for a blizzard like that again. I'd take so many photos. Don't get much snow in my neck of the woods. What an amazing set of discoveries, I'd say. I always say that. Hopefully we'll make discoveries like these again, provided I continue to find memory cards at a reasonable price. I'm always looking, because with memory cards and storage media like these, archaeology is always extremely exciting. You never know what you're going to find next. Day trips to theme parks are good, but do you know what's better? A holiday abroad with nice weather and happy vibes. So why not take a holiday with me to Australia? Explore the memory card that started this series by clicking the video on screen now. I've been Escape Route British, you've been watching Archive Dive. Until next time, if we live that long.